like that where you just had to outlast your opponent?
Yeah, I mean those type of games are very fun to play in, especially when the crowd's into it like they were tonight. Us players feed off that energy, and I thought to come back from 23 points early in that third quarter, show resilience and toughness by our team. And I thought it would have been easy to go into a shell at that point when we had to call that first time out in the third. But I thought we stuck with it. We played the same way. I mean, we didn't make many shots in the first half. I thought the second half guys were more aggressive, decisive for what they were doing, and it led to good things. So I thought once we figured that out and how to attack the blitzes they were putting on Shai, I thought we looked good out there.
Yeah, you guys kind of sorted out the mental side of things as the game wore on, but tell me about the feeling when some of those physical plays happen. You're and one, lose and one, Kenrich tap outs. Like, what do those plays mean to the team in those moments?
I mean, yeah, they're bigger than 2 or 3 points, whatever it is. I think the energy that the team gets from it, the crowd gets involved. It deflates the other team, especially in an overtime period where possessions are so limited. Anytime you can make a big play like that, it's exciting. And I thought we made a lot of them. I thought Lou was phenomenal. Started off tough, couldn't make a shot, and from that fourth quarter into overtime, he was awesome. He stuck with it. He never got fazed by the misses, and he came up huge on both sides of the ball for us in overtime. So guys made big plays. We had to step up, especially with how they were defending us, and I thought the guys did a good job of that tonight.
Josh, you just mentioned some of the decisiveness that changed as the game went on, especially with, how high they're doubling the Shai, trying to get the ball out of his hands. I just wonder what specific developments you saw in terms of guys being decisive and him getting off it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought in the first half, it's a credit to him, the way he got off the ball and put us in advantages, 4-on-3, 3-on-2 was awesome. And the first half, I think we missed a lot of good looks, maybe myself included, make quicker decisions, whether that's, passing the ball or shooting the ball. I thought we held on to it a little too long, but the start of the third quarter, I thought we generated the same looks. We didn't make them early, but we stuck with it. We trusted, how we were attacking them, and I thought as the game went on, we became more confident in how to play out of it, and we started, making shots for one, but started getting easier and better looks. And I think, I don't think we changed how we played strategically a whole lot. I thought a lot of it was just decision making and decisiveness. And once we found that, we found good things and got good looks.
And in recent weeks, as teams have put their big on you or whatever the adjustments they've made that you maybe haven't seen before, there's been times where maybe you look off a shot or you're trying to be a hub or whatever. Today it felt like you were just constantly in the right place at the right time and taking some of those looks you maybe pass up. Did you feel like today was a step in the right direction in terms of your thought process and stuff like that?
Definitely. I mean, obviously it's been a different year for me. Obviously, with guys coming in, sacrifice is needed for a team like this, and the success we've had requires that. And I think, guys have done a great job of making the right play, and we've got so much talent on this team that's not going to be everyone's night every night. And guys have done a great job being unselfish, making the extra pass, making the extra play, and that's where I think we've had success so far. But I'm just trying to get back to me. I thought tonight was a good step in the right direction in terms of confidence and decision making, and I think it's not going to be overnight. This takes time, and progress is never linear with things like this. And I'm 21 years old. I'm going to go through tough stretches as I've been through most of the season. But I'm trying not to let it faze me. Trying to stay confident. I've got good people around me that are giving that to me. Coaches being great in instilling confidence in me. So obviously it is tough at times when you go through these stretches and you're in the middle of it, and it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But you've got to think big picture, and everyone goes through this. You're never alone throughout slumps and tough stretches. And I've been good having people to lean on, teammates, coaches, external people that have been awesome in helping me and dealing with that. So as I said, it's been a tough season, but trying to get things back on track. But more importantly, the team's been awesome. The success we've had so far has been good. But as I said, there's a lot of season left, and we're heading in the right direction.
Josh, you're a more experienced player. You know a lot more than you did 2 years ago. But has this year been harder in that sense? Have you had a more challenging? Is this your most challenging year from that standpoint?
I mean, I'd say so. I guess it's a combination of being guarded differently, different role, different guys on the team. There's a lot of different things and factors that contribute to that. But as I said, these things take time to figure out, and I think we're doing that. Not just me, but everybody on the team. And once we start to click on all cylinders with whatever lineups out there, I think it's going to make our team even more dangerous with, the weapons that we do have. So, I would say for me, it's been the most difficult out of my 3 years, but that's not a bad thing. I think these moments and these stretches are what make or break players, and, we're heading in the right direction.
Mark was just talking about you guys have been played a bunch of different ways. The way they guarded Shai tonight was a little different than some other people have. And you're a team that you have big aspirations. When games get big and important and in the playoffs, you're going to have to kind of figure some stuff out on the fly. How much does a game like this maybe help you in that regard?
I mean, a lot. As you said, we've been guarded a lot of different ways, and whether that's cross-matching and blitzing or zone or whatever it is, we figured it out, and I think that's the most important thing. And we've got playmakers on this team, and we know how to attack different defenses. And the more we see things, the more we're going to watch film, address it, and learn how to go at it. So I think it's also a sign of respect from other teams that we have so much talent that they're trying to play defenses that they've maybe never played throughout their year, whether that's putting a big on me, whether that's blitzing Shai, whatever it is. So we're forcing teams to make tough decisions, and I think that's a credit to our guys and coach and the way we game plan for different defenses.
Josh, you mentioned sacrifices in the previous answer. With the rise of guys like Dub and Shai growing their game, Chet gets added to the mix, Kaysen and others. You seemingly have had to take a step back on some things. What's been the challenge of that, and what have you learned about yourself in the process?
Yeah, it's what's required for a good team. There's one ball out there, and it's gonna, with the talent we have and the type of basketball players that we have, the ball is gonna find the right man, and we've got so many guys who can do so many things that, as I said earlier, it's not going to be your night every night. And part of being a winning team and a good team requires sacrifice, and I think guys are willing to do that. We've got a really, unselfish group that are happy to see each other be successful, and that's what makes a good team. And we're lucky we've got that type of locker room, and that's 1 through 18. Whoever's out on the floor, guys are happy to see other guys do well, and I think that creates a good culture and helps to win games.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Shai, on the physical side of things tonight, double OT and lose like a battering ram on that and one, and Kenrich with the tap out offensive rebound. Just what did you make of the physical plays that you guys made to will your way to this win?
Yeah, it was a gutsy win for sure. What we brought in the second half was needed, and things that we try to execute and accomplish throughout, obviously, the whole season, 82 games. And obviously with our back against the walls, we wanted to really make an emphasis on it, and we did so, and we're able to get a W because of it.
You guys did, despite things not going your way for a good, 2/3 of the game, you guys didn't seem to get frustrated by just having to dink the ball out and move it around against the zone and everything. Where does the confidence come from to be that patient in a game and know that things are probably going to turn around for you?
Just trusting each other, and honestly, to win, especially the way they were playing defense tonight. In order to win in a sustainable way, it requires you to trust each other, and the group of guys that we have in the locker room trust each other. So because of that, we were able to win.
Shai, you getting doubled isn't new, but it felt like some of the things the Raptors were trying to do in terms of how high they were pressing up on you, the aggressiveness and trying to get the ball out of your hands was maybe to a degree we haven't seen this year. I just wonder, what changes you saw in terms of your decisiveness, your teammates' decisiveness as the game went on, and just how much of this, I know it's a single game, but how much of this can carry over in the long run, maybe to a postseason run?
Yeah. Yeah, they were really aggressive with me, multiple bodies, pretty much every possession. In the first half, I thought we got, it kind of maybe threw us off a little bit to start the game. We were still getting good looks in the first half, didn't make them. But I think in the second half, I was moving out of it quicker, and my teammates did an amazing job of playing on the catch, making fast decisions, and being aggressive, whether it was to shoot or to drive and make the next play. And it was their decisiveness that won us the game tonight, for sure.
Yeah, and when you hear 63 three-point attempts and 8 free throws, what do you think?
Good aggressiveness, and taking what the defense gives you. I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, especially on the offensive end. You just take what they give you, and tonight they put two on the ball a lot. They had a lot of loads, and they were leaving guys open, and it required us to shoot and make threes, and we shot and made them at a high rate.
And one more for me. I imagine because you were here since the beginning of the rebuild, even before it was a rebuild, that you take some ownership in, turning things around, just kind of the changes that have happened over these past few years. And after this game, it's the team's best 50-game start since the last year, Katie and Russ. Just when you hear that, what do you think?
We're headed in the right direction. We're doing something right. The last two seasons, we've gone tremendously better really fast. So whatever we're doing is clearly working. Just got to stay focused and not get complacent and do the same thing.
Hey, Shai, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you. A couple of questions for you. One, I don't know if you're aware or not, but I think the only guy who's had more 30-point games through 50 games is MJ back in 86, 87 or something like that. And was asking Mark previously, what do you attribute your consistency, especially when the level you're trying to reach is so high?
Mm-hmm. I'm very, very strict on consistency in every aspect of life, and I think it helps with my basketball. Whether it be eating, my day-to-day schedule, how clean my house is, what I do in my time, whether it's planned out or not. I try to be very, very strict on discipline, being consistent. I think it helps with basketball.
And then, I'm sure you're not thinking about major individual awards at this stage, but obviously your name's out there, and it's been, I think, 20 years since Steve won his. And when you hear some of that talk regarding an MVP, how do you respond to it, and where would it fit in your set of goals?
It would for sure be up there. I think for every basketball player it is. It's obviously, I'm not naive. I can hear it. Now I channel it out, and I try to focus on the day in and day out. It's what got me to this point, and I'd be stupid to do otherwise. So I focus on the day-to-day for sure.
And just one more, if people don't mind, not yourself, but RJ, you go through basically all the guys who were on that team this summer. They've all had very good NBA seasons to this point. Do you think there's a correlation, other than they're all good players, but do you think something about that experience kind of let them unlock something?
Absolutely. I'm a big advocate of playing FIBA basketball. The style of play, the pace that they play at, the physicality, and at the end of the day, you're playing real basketball games with real refs and real game management and real coaches in the summertime when most guys aren't, and it gets you more reps and more ready for the NBA season. And the last 2 summers I played FIBA basketball, and I felt more sharp coming into the season, and it's for sure no coincidence.
Thanks. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Shai, over the course of your career, you've had a lot of really great vets in your life, from Chris Paul, Al Horford, Steven Adams, and others. Now you're the vet on the team. Kenrich the other day told us that you've really taken Dub under your wing. What exactly has that entailed in terms of working with him? So Dub is first and foremost, he wants to be great. So it makes it easy to help him. He's going through a lot of things that I've gone through. Young rising star in the NBA, different things thrown at him. And above all, me and him are just really close friends and want to see each other do so well. That it doesn't feel like I'm his vet. It just feels like me and my homie are going through this NBA basketball life together and trying to figure it out. So the type of kid he is and who he wants to be makes it easy for me.
Thank you, Shai.
Yep.
Mark was saying that early stages of the third quarter, you guys were playing the right way, sticking with it, didn't get the results that you wanted to. What was that like for your group having experienced what you've experienced to this point, to not kind of give into that and to continue to put your head down and keep playing the right way?
Yeah, I mean, we was just trying to get the right shot every time, and wish we did a lot, and we just couldn't make it. But there's a lot of ups and downs in the game, and we just know we got to fight till the end. So credit to the whole team. We still fought to find those type of shots, and we ended up making them. So it was good.
Lou, just Mark was in here talking about the first half defense not being what we've come to expect, and then down the stretch, obviously you guys put together some stops to come back from down 23 in the second overtime. You hold them to 3 for 11. I just wonder what specific plays stood out to you, what sequences stood out to you in terms of getting back to the way you guys want to play defensively.
I mean, we just had stacks stops. Honestly, I mean, we didn't really start the game well. They was really comfortable, really more physical than us. So we just had to step up at halftime. We just had our conversation, watch a little bit of film, and see what we can do to get better in the second half, which we did. So we just had to fight till the end.
What at halftime, because Mark mentioned that being the turning point, what were some of the things you guys discussed in terms of changing things?
Just be more physical. I mean, you could tell that they was fighting harder than us, and they was going harder than us. So we just had to step up and man up and go out there and really get some stops.
Yeah, and obviously 2 overtimes, you guys shoot 63 threes, 8 free throws. Did this game, as it's going on, feel as weird as it ended up being?
I mean, teams going to throw a lot of stuff at us. Shai has been playing really well the whole season, so he's going to see a lot of different coverages. So tonight was a new one, obviously. It happened that we had a lot of guys open, and he was making the right reads. So a lot of credit to him.
Lou, I just want to ask you a little bit. Pre-game, Mark was saying that he thought that yourself and Shai, and you see the way RJ, a lot of the guys from the national team have played this season, kind of maybe lit a fuse a little bit. Did anything about your experience in the summer, has it carried over into your game personally, and maybe the aggression or confidence you're playing with?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just those type of games is a win to go home, and then when we have a goal and we want to win a medal and do some, be part of history for our country, it's amazing. So I mean, it helps definitely in those type of games where the game is so close, and you got to make the right play to win the game. So I mean, it definitely helps.
Lou, over the last couple of years, it's been a transition into finding different ways to win games and be a competitive team. Now that you are winning at this rate, what is it like with a bunch of younger guys who haven't played in the playoffs like you and Shai have, of showing them like this isn't going to cut it in the playoffs as we're playing the regular season, and kind of climbing that next mountain and next step in progress?
I mean, it's good that we're seeing those type of games in the season right now. Is that this could be definitely could be a playoff atmosphere, and the way that it's not easy to win a game. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, they're learning, and obviously we watch a lot of film, and we want to teach them how to be ready for those type of games. So it's hard when they haven't been in this position yet, but at the same time, they're just learning, and we got a pretty good shot, so they'll get better at that.
Lou, feel safe to assume that many in Canada got to watch this game and it was pretty memorable. Do you have a game that sticks out from back whenever you were watching games as a kid that kind of stands out to you?
Honestly, I don't. Well, in Canada, no, I don't. I mean, I grew up playing soccer, so I started watching basketball really late. So honestly, I do not have a game that I can't remember, really.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Mark, seemed like you guys displayed a lot of restraint tonight and patience. Where does that come from within this group to be able to outlast a team like this?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game for us. The way they played us, credit them, with their game plan. They made us uncomfortable in the first half. You never know how a team's going to play you, so it took us obviously a little bit to calibrate that. And I thought we came out in the second half, they're double teaming Shai all over the place. I was really impressed by his ability to get it out of there, and then the rest of the guys' ability to play on the catch, shoot when they were open, drive and make decisions. And I thought that really opened things up for us. In the start of the half, we missed a couple shots, and we went down by 23, and the game kind of tested us as to whether or not we were going to kind of stay with that, even though we weren't getting the direct results. And to the team's credit, we stayed on it, and let the game turn. And it was an impressive show of confidence by our team to just kind of, confidence in each other and then constant confidence in themselves to go out there and get that one.
That was kind of the mental side of things. There was also sort of a physical sheer force of will from guys like Lou and Kenrich and many others as well. What did you see in that regard?
Yeah, they were great. Obviously that's high minutes in a game, double overtime. They just great grit, great will, got competitive guys, that rise to the level of the game, win or lose. I thought that was on display tonight.
Mark, the defense down the stretch in the second half, especially that second overtime, felt wildly different from what we watched for most of that first half. Just what did you see change, and I guess what stood out to you, maybe certain plays, anything like that down the stretch?
Yeah, credit Toronto with the way they started the game. I thought they were just on the gas. They played with way more force than we did on both ends of the floor, and had us on our heels for much of the first half. We got that corrected at halftime, and I actually thought in the first overtime we kind of had we regressed a little bit there on the defensive end, and then the second overtime our defense was tight, and the guys did a great job of adjusting in game, problem solving together on both ends of the floor. The defensive physicality was one example, and then the attacks of the offense was another.
Yeah, and you shoot 63 threes in this game. You shoot only 8 free throws. Obviously double OT. Did this game feel as weird as it was happening as it ended up being?
Well, the 8 free throws, come on. I was not happy with that and voiced that. But, the threes, it's like, great if they're going to be open. I was impressed with our guys' confidence stepping into those shots. If a team's going to, volunteer to the ball like that and give us, open driving lanes and let good decision makers play out of advantages and then good confident shooters shoot open shots, then we're happy with that. So, let's keep it coming, if they're open like that.
What did you think of just all that Josh did and the way he played off the ball and when he had the ball and just his game in general?
Yeah, I thought he played with great intensity tonight, especially on the defensive end of the floor and on the glass. I thought he did a great job from a physical standpoint. He had different matchups throughout the night and did a nice job on that end. And then offensively, I thought played with great decisiveness, in his shooting and also his driving, his movement off the ball. I thought he had a great balance tonight.
And when you talk about the way they played Shai, it's hard to do with Dub on the floor, and they could do. You talked about wondering how teams were going to approach that, but you talk about the other guys playing off it. But what does it tell you about him and the way he played to take that defense and figure it out?
I thought he figured out as the game went on, and so did we. I thought we were a little, he held it a little long in the first half, and then when it came out, the other guys I thought were a little indecisive on a couple plays. And then coming out of halftime, he was decisive off it. They were decisive. It didn't work right away. And, to the credit of the team, we stuck with it. And if teams are going to play us like that, then we're going to take what they give us. The other thing it does for you is we offensive rebounded tonight, because if they're scrambling around like that, you get free runs to the glass. You're shooting a lot of threes. Those are long rebounds. Those were huge plays for us. So, like I said, we're going to get played a lot of different ways this season. We don't know what an opponent's going to do coming into the game. It took us a minute to figure that out tonight, but we got better as the game went on and took a step forward, in our season too. We're going to see this again at some point.
And just one more thing, with regard to that, you would hope play meaningful games down the stretch of the season, play meaningful games in the playoffs. What does it do for a team to just sort of have to calculate to figure some stuff out that can serve them down the road?
Yeah, we're getting. I don't know the numbers on this, but as I said before, I said it in December, and I would double down on it now. We're not getting like base coverages very often. We're getting some version of a plan B by our opponents. Whether it's the cross matching, the zone, what we saw tonight. We're seeing something different every night. And at the end of the day, if you have a good offense and potent players like we do, that's going to happen. And these games are allowing us to learn these attacks and get comfortable with the discomfort of alternate defenses, and thought tonight was a great example of that, because it was uncomfortable early. The guys stayed together, they problem solved together, and we got better as the game went on.
Wiggins he didn't mind stepping in and making those shots. It's one thing to get him, but he kind of led that surge coming back from 23.
Yeah, he was huge. He and Chet are two guys that, we've encouraged to shoot more open threes because of how well they shoot it and what it does for our offense. And Wiggs has done a great job of turning that up lately without hunting, and shooting bad ones. He's just finding more good ones like tonight. And Chet did a great job of stepping into him as well. And so those guys, they made big ones. Wiggins to cut into that lead, and then Chet obviously down the stretch had some huge shots.
And when things aren't going well, what's the mood of the team? I mean, are they still pushing it? Do you have to kind of push them to keep going? Because a lot of shots are just in and out, and the lead go to 23. I mean, but there's a lot of time left.
Yeah, some teams are kind of together and happy when things are good, and then they detach when there's adversity. And we've got a group of guys. The chemistry of the team is real because as the games get harder, they tend to connect more and problem solve together. And I thought tonight was a great example of that. You know, the game was not going our way on either end. Easy to pack it in, point fingers, try to do it ourselves, and we did quite the opposite, you know, coming out of halftime. They showed confidence in each other, showed confidence in themselves, problem solved together, and like I said, the best part of that, the sneaky thing about that is we started that way out of the half, and it didn't work, you know, and Toronto extended the lead to 23, and yet we were persistent with it together, and I thought that was really impressive by the team.
In the first half, it seemed like they were doubling Shai a little higher than teams normally do. And when he would kick it out, led to a lot of threes, and it seemed like just we're missing it second half. That seemed to change. And you mentioned how they were being more decisive. Was it just ball falling in the second half, or was
no? I thought he helped us create a little more rhythm in the second half. Like I thought he got off it earlier, and he was more decisive, moving it out of there. And then I thought that in turn made everybody else a little more decisive. It gave us more time to attack against a scrambling defense and gave us time to get it back to him on some plays and give him kind of a second crack at it when the defense is already jumbled up. So, like I said, it wasn't the first half. The defensive end wasn't good enough, but the offensive end, you know, we were just kind of figuring it out. And halftime, everybody got on the same page. We came out of halftime together, looking to problem solve it. Didn't work right away. We stuck with it and got better and better as the game went on.
And then you started Shai, start the fourth quarter. It wasn't for much time, but what'd that do for you guys?
We just had the ball, and you know, certain nights, I just think it's a good idea. You know, try to get him use his gravity in some way, and then get him a quick sub. And that was what I was thinking. If you told me that we were going to go into double overtime, I would not have done that.
40 assists tonight for you guys. I mean, obviously, the first half, the shot wasn't falling, but that second half, it just seemed like the fall. But what did you like about the ball movement because, I mean, when you get down, it's easy to just throw up a lot of shots and not continue to move the ball. But
Same thing. I mean, 40 assists is a big number, and that's on a night where we didn't shoot it well in the first half. We really trusted the pass, trusted each other, and, you know, we can't control how the defense is going to play us, and if they're going to play us like that and we're going to get open threes, we need to move it out of there and generate those, and the guys did a great job of that tonight, obviously.
Mark, you mentioned with Wiggs that you're encouraging him to take more shots. With him, he's an all-around player. He does a lot of different things for you guys. If you had to boil it down to just one thing as his best skill, what would it be?
Everything. You know, he's a very complete player. You know, that's his best skill is the fact that he's good at everything. You know, and especially with the system, you know, so his skills aren't in like a vacuum. You know, his skills are additive to the system and the way we want to play on both ends of the floor. So he enhances the whole, you know, and so it's not like the skills are in a vacuum. The skills are contagious and help enhance everybody else.